Nick Saban has pissed off a lot of people, and even Kirk Herbstreit has pissed off people. We'll talk about that a little later, because Saban is saying that Jermaine Burton was quote-unquote scared of the female. So for me as a Bama fan myself to try to sit up here and justify what Jermaine Burton did, I just can't do that. There's no excuse for it. What I'm about to say may offend some people, but it's the cold hard truth. I've been watching college football my entire life, and I have never, and I mean never, seen a situation quite like this. The saddest part about this is we've already talked about this situation. We made a video on it 4 days ago. If you want to check that video out, feel free to do so. I explain everything a little more into detail. And honestly, if you haven't heard about this situation, you got to be living under a rock. I know about 85 to 9% of you know what's going on, but for the new people that are coming to this video, let me give you a brief and short update. To make a really long story short, after Alabama lost to Tennessee, just like always, what does the other team do? They storm the field, rightfully so. I love that. If you're a real college football fan and you get mad at other teams storming the field, do you even like the sport? Come on, this is one of the best things ever. And let me remind some of y'all, I'm a Bama fan saying that. I like it. Although, yes, it sucks to watch. I think it's awesome, but that's besides the point. The point is, whenever Tennessee was storming the field, one of Alabama's players that goes by the name Jermaine Burton, he was a star wide receiver at Georgia. I guess I can't really call him a star wide receiver anymore at Bama. He wound up He wound up hitting and shoving not one, but two people. I'll show you once again the first shove he did against a guy. Matt, roll a clip.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
That was the first one, and I don't really mind that. I know some of you are going to be like, he shouldn't have done that, and I can see where you're coming from, but I don't mind that, because I said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you run up to me with a phone in my face, yelling, screaming, doing all this, I may not punch you, but I am going to shove you out the way. Or let me rephrase that. I've had that happen to me, and I'll talk about that later in this video. I wouldn't shove you. I would shove your phone out the way. That's a better way to put it. But now, here is the most controversial part. Most people don't even know that first video is out there, and it happened. Right after that guy went up to him, a girl apparently, and I'll show you the video, it's kind of blurry, she goes up to him, she says something, and as she's walking away, I'll put it right here in slow motion, Jermaine Burton, star wide receiver, or I guess I can't call him a star once again, Jermaine Burton, just average receiver, he pushes her, shoves her, hits her, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't say he hit her, it was more of a shoulder bump or shoulder shove to the head. I think a good way to say it is he pushed her head. This video clip you see right here is what has everybody on a rampage, and here's a fun fact for you, I said it in the prior video 4 days ago, I actually saw this video on Saturday night, and I didn't think anything about it because I didn't think it was going to go viral. I'm not saying what Jermaine Burton did was right. I think that's wrong. You shouldn't have done that to a girl. You shouldn't have done that to anybody, but especially a girl. But I still didn't think it was going to be as big as it is. And that's why I made the video on Monday, because it started going viral. But ever since Monday, it has now gotten even bigger. Oh yeah, by the way, I know we forgot, but we're not doing no intro, none of that. It's simple. If you like the content, consider subscribing. Would love to have you here. We're building an awesome community. If you don't like the content, don't subscribe. It's free. All right, Matt, blah, blah, blah. Shut the crap up. Get back into it. Anyways, like I was saying, this has somehow, some way gotten bigger since Monday, and it's trending everywhere. Look, I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. There's no excuse about it. It's rather simple. He shouldn't have pushed that girl. It's plain and simple. There's no reason to elaborate on it. He shouldn't have done it. The only thing I've heard, and you don't really get a good look at it because this video is so low quality because the original video got deleted, is that apparently that girl said something to him. That's what we originally heard. That was the rumor going on. However, the story has changed. Nick Saban has pissed off a lot of people, and even Kirk Herbstreit has pissed off people. We'll talk about that a little later, because Saban is saying that Jermaine Burton was quote-unquote scared of the female. Saban is getting criticized heavily, which is normal. We see that all the time with head coaches, but Herbstreit is getting so much hate, he's had to address it on Twitter. Here's what good old Nick Saban had to say on Wednesday about the situation heading into the game. It's a difficult situation for the league. It's a difficult situation for all of us that are in this situation. We certainly don't condone any mistreatment of anybody, whether they should or shouldn't be there. I think you've got to have respect for other people. Following that statement, he also added this. But as of today, which was Wednesday, when I was asked about it, the league has tried to control people from rushing the field. It's a difficult circumstance for the league, difficult circumstance for the people on the field, but we have to go through those difficult circumstances and still respect other people. I think that's on us to do, and it's a lesson for all of us to learn relative to this. Going off of those words and quotes from Nick Saban, I think it's safe to say you could tell he was taking his players back, rightfully so. As a head coach, you gotta have your players back because everyone out there, they're gonna criticize them. So you need to make them feel like they're at home. And I know some of you are gonna say, Matt, how could you say that? This is the one time Saban shouldn't have had his back, but he needs to be there for him. I don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with what Jermaine Burton did, but I don't have a problem with Saban sticking up for him. Because like Saban said, don't storm the field, number one, and don't get in a player's face, and then maybe none of that happens. But once again, let me make this clear. I'm not saying he should have hit her. I wouldn't have hit her myself. I'm not about that, and I like storming the field. It's awesome to see, but that's where Saban's coming from. He doesn't like all these teams storming the field and bumping into him and whatnot. For those of you that don't know, here's a fun fact for you. Saban, after Texas A&M stormed the field last year, he actually had 3 to 4 bruises after that because of people bumping into him. That's a different conversation for a different day. Let's continue on. There's a lot of speculation going into Alabama's Saturday game against Mississippi State. Nobody thought Alabama was going to lose the game, but one of the biggest topics going into it was many people wanted Jermaine Burton to be suspended. They wanted him to be suspended at least for one game. I didn't see many people clamoring and saying, oh, he needs to be suspended for 2 or 3 games, but they wanted to see some kind of suspension. And yeah, I think you know where this is going. That did not happen. This created an even bigger controversy, and a lot of people were pissed off about that. Here's what Aaron Torres had to say on Twitter. Jermaine Burton is playing for Bama tonight? Am I the only one that thinks this is insane? At best, he shoved a female fan last week. At worst, he punched her. I don't care if she was on the field or not. This is embarrassing for Nick Saban. Why is no one else talking about this? I don't know why he said, why is no one else talking about this? Because everybody was talking about it. A lot of people were claiming and saying, this is embarrassing for Nick Saban and it's a bad look. And once again, I get where you're coming from, but that's his player. He's got to take up for him. Everyone else in the media is criticizing his player. If one person's going to stick up for him, it's going to be Saban. Honestly, if you think Saban is in the wrong for sticking up for his player, I think you're out of your mind. That's what you do as a head coach. That's part of your job. That's why you're getting paid $10 million. But I found this comment from a Tennessee fan that I really like. This person stated he should be charged with you-know-what in Knoxville regardless if Nick thought he was scared or not. I guarantee if it was the other way around, you would all be having a come apart about it. He wasn't scared. She didn't do anything to him. He just randomly slugged her. The first part, just disregard that. He should be charged with you-know-what. That's just too much. It's the last part of that statement that I like, where he said, I guarantee if it was the other way around, you would all be having a come apart, and we would. If a fan went onto the field and shoved a football player the way Jermaine Burton shoved that girl, I can't even imagine what would be happening right now. That fan more than likely would be in some serious trouble, maybe with the law, and yeah, Twitter would be exploding. I do kind of think that's a different story though, because the fan, you went onto the field. That's the player sanctuary. I know it's not the greatest comparison, but it's the same thing when people get bit by sharks. Yes, the shark shouldn't have bit you, but you're in their habitat. You're in the ocean. You're in their territory. You see what I'm saying? You went onto the field. That's the player's field. You're technically, by the SEC law, not supposed to be there. Once again, I'm not saying he should have shoved or pushed or whatever you want to call it, but if you go in the ocean and get bit by a shark, you can't really complain. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. It gets even better. We haven't even gotten to the juicy stuff where Kirk Herbstreit's getting flamed and hated on Twitter, and Nick Saban said one of the most controversial things ever, in which I totally disagree with. So after the game on Saturday, in which Alabama beat Mississippi State 30-6, Nick Saban addressed all the comments asking him why he let Jermaine Burton play. Why didn't he suspend him? Oh, brother. And when you hear what Nick Saban said, it might shock you. Here's what Saban had to say about letting Jermaine Burton play. I don't know how many of you have been in a situation like that. I talked to him. He was scared. I was scared. Some of our other players were scared. I think you learn to respect other people because we have a responsibility to do that regardless of the circumstance we're in. I talked to the guy referring to Jermaine Burton. We have him in a counseling program. It's not an anger management program as some people announced today. Nobody ever said that. That's not the problem. That's not the issue. It's about having the proper respect for other people. I don't think it was necessary to suspend the guy. So if you knew the whole story, maybe you wouldn't either, but I am not going to divulge that. Wow. Let me know your thoughts on that down below. When I say I am curious about what you guys think, I don't even think you understand. I want to know your opinions. Nick Saban stating that Jermaine Burton was quote-unquote scared of that girl? Come on, man. Let's just be real here. Nick Saban knows that's not the truth, but once again, I'm not going to criticize Saban for sticking up for his player. That's what he's going to do. You got to think about it. Everyone's criticizing Jermaine Burton. The last thing he needs and wants is for his own head coach to. And y'all don't know what goes on behind closed doors. This is what pisses me off. Yeah, to the media, Saban might take up for him, but I bet behind the scenes, they're actually addressing the matter. Whoa. Hold on. I'm going to offer all of you a different perspective. I know a lot of you, probably 99% of you, can't relate to this, but I've been in a situation like this. I've been in a situation where fans have stormed the court. Not a field, but the court. When I was playing basketball, a team beat us that wasn't supposed to beat us, kind of like what Alabama and Tennessee, and they stormed the court. Their student section did. And I think it's a great comparison because the student section, even if it is 400 to 500 kids, that can fill up a basketball court quickly. A football field is way bigger than a basketball court. So if you got 400 to 500 kids on a basketball court, you're probably closer than the football field. And when I say closer, I mean you're closer together. Anyways, getting a move on, I was in a very similar situation myself where we just lost the game, heartbreaking fashion, and we're trying to walk off the court, but we're bumping into all these fans that are storming the court. The opposing team's fans, they all had their phones out, they're screaming, they're cussing at us. They were doing that the entire game, but that's how sports go. They're cussing at us, videoing us, calling us losers and whatnot, and we're just trying to walk to the locker room. Nobody's responding or retaliating. As I'm swarming through the crowd, just trying to get off the court because I'm bumping into all these crazy people, right when I think I'm out of the mix of people, right when I think I'm out of the swarm, out of nowhere, a girl running at full speed, she bumps into me really hard. The first thing she did after she bumped into me, and I vividly remember this, is she apologized. She said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And she continued to run onto the middle of the court, and they had their moment or whatnot, and I went back to the locker room. I say that to say this. Even with me bumping into all the fans right after the game, and that girl bumping into me really hard, I never once thought about shoving her. I never once thought about pushing a fan or hitting him forcefully. So for me as a Bama fan myself to try to sit up here and justify what Jermaine Burton did, I just can't do that. There's no excuse for it. I've been in a situation like that, and in no circumstance did I think about pushing a girl back or pushing them when they didn't do anything to me, even if they said something to me. I get it, Jermaine Burton. You were mad. As a former athlete myself, I've been mad after losing heartbreaking fashion and fans cussing at me. But it gives you no right to do what you did. Also, let me throw this in there. It's the reason I told you this story. Not once did I ever fear or was I scared of that girl when she bumped into me. What I'm about to say may offend some people, but it's the cold hard truth. You can call me a misogynist all you want. I don't care. It's literally just the cold hard facts. I'm not scared of a female. I'm sorry, I'm just not. As a man in this life, I've never feared my life or been scared with a female approaching me. On the flip side, yeah, I fear my life sometimes when I walk past certain dudes or whatnot, but a female, no. It's nothing against my females out there. I love y'all. Y'all are very beautiful and pretty, but I'm not scared of you. You know why? Because you're not as big. You're not as strong as a man. There's a difference from women's strength and men's strength. So for Nick Saban to get up there and say that Jermaine Burton was scared of that girl, I just wish he didn't say that because it's a flat out lie. Jermaine Burton's what? 6'2", 6'3", 210 pounds? What are you scared of? That girl at max was probably 5'8", 140. I would have liked it better myself if Saban just got up there and said, yeah, Jermaine Burton, he messed up, he shouldn't have done that, and we're going to continue to move forward. That way you put it in the past. But now when you say he was scared, it just brings all of the debate back up. Whoa. Hold on. We are still not done because we got to talk about old Herbie. For those of you that don't know, Kirk Herbstreit was announcing during the Bama game, and he was talking about it as well. And let's just say most people weren't too fond of what he had to say. I didn't think it was anything bad. He was just addressing what Nick Saban said about it. And apparently people took that the wrong way because all Kirk Herbstreit was saying was Saban said that Jermaine Burton, he was scared, and he's relaying the information as most announcers do. I'm not going to read off all the hateful tweets that people are putting out there about Kirk because I do like him, and I honestly don't feel like he did anything wrong. He's the messenger. Same thing with me. If I tell you some breaking news and you don't like it, well, don't be mad at me. I'm just the messenger. Same thing with Kirk Herbstreit, and one comment was so bad, Herbstreit even quote tweeted it and said this. Or, in related news, I didn't make a comment about it at all. I did analyze his play during the game, but didn't comment on any of what you're describing, but who needs facts? Oh, man, clap it up for good old Herbie. I like him. I don't know how you couldn't like him. Here's my biggest dilemma with all of this. If you want to hate somebody in this situation, don't hate Nick Saban, don't hate Kirk Herbstreit, hate Jermaine Burton. He's the one who did it. That's the current up-to-date on this situation, and hopefully I don't have to make another video about this, but I didn't think I'd have to make the first video about it, and here we are. We've already made two. If you think Jermaine Burton's going to get suspended by the SEC or somebody else. It's not going to happen. If he was going to get suspended, it would have happened in the last game, and he didn't. It's time to move on, but I am very, and I mean very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But